The blush deepens, warmth spreading down your neck before you can think of a reply. Just then, Evan returns with fresh drinks, setting one in front of you before dropping into the chair beside you with an easy, familiar grin. What he said, he adds lightly, giving your shoulder a playful nudge. Seriously, you're glowing. If I didn't know better, I'd think you were the one in your 20s tonight. You laugh, caught off guard and a little flustered now, heat rising to your cheeks as both brothers look at you with open, genuine appreciation. It's been a long time since anyone has made you feel this seen, this genuinely wanted, and the realization settles softly but powerfully in your chest. Buoyed by the wine and their kindness, you find yourself admitting what you hadn't planned to say aloud. Actually, you begin, then pause, smiling at your own hesitation. I was kind of hoping Nathan would be here tonight. You shrug, half embarrassed, half honest. I saw a few pictures. I thought maybe. The sentence trails off, unfinished, but the feeling behind it lingers, warm and undeniable. Chris's eyebrows lift in surprise, and Evan lets out a low, appreciative whistle. Dad, Chris says, clearly amused. Wow. Okay. You're single? Evan adds, genuinely stunned. How is that even possible? That should be against the law. You laugh again, the sound lighter than it has been in years, easy and unguarded. For a brief moment, the three of you fall into relaxed conversation, teasing, smiling, the earlier tension fading into the background as if it never existed. It feels simple. Normal. Almost joyful. Then the front door opens, letting in a sharp rush of cold air. Your daughter steps back inside, cheeks flushed pink from the snow. Her expression is calmer now, but still tight around the edges, as though she's holding something back. She avoids your eyes, murmurs an apology to Chris that sounds more dutiful than heartfelt, and drifts toward the kitchen. I'm just going to check the desserts, she says, already turning away. And just like that, the room settles into a quieter, more fragile calm. The mood shifts again, though not as sharply as before. This time, you choose to stay, to see the evening through rather than slip away early. Presents are opened, laughter rises in slightly forced bursts, and more wine is poured to fill the quiet spaces in between. The cheer isn't effortless, but it's serviceable, and for now, it's enough. When the last guest finally leaves, you linger to help with the cleanup. Plates are stacked, counters wiped, the remnants of the night slowly erased. Chris moves from room to room, thanking everyone again before seeing them out into the cold. Evan drifts into the kitchen beside you, sleeves rolled up, casually loading the dishwasher. He keeps finding small reasons to stand close, brushing your arm as he reaches past you, glancing your way with an easy smile. His compliments are light and teasing, jokes about how you're somehow making an ordinary chore far more enjoyable than it has any right to be. The flirting is playful and harmless, nothing that crosses a line. Still, it's enough to keep that warm, unexpected glow alive in your chest, a quiet reminder that even in complicated moments, there can still be laughter, attention, and a little spark of lightness. Your daughter lingers nearby, quiet and withdrawn, her mood written in the tight set of her shoulders. Every so often, she sends a sharp glance in your direction. When your eyes meet, you offer a small, neutral smile, careful, unassuming. She turns away without returning it. By the time the counters are wiped clean and the lights are dimmed, the hour has crept well past late. Outside, snow continues to fall in a hushed, steady drift, blanketing the world beyond the windows. You slip into your coat, exchange soft goodbyes, and head for the door. Chris follows you down the hallway. At the threshold, he pauses, his hand hovering near your back without quite making contact, close enough to feel, careful enough to respect the moment. Thank you again for staying, he says quietly. Tonight would have been a lot harder without you. You meet his gaze, feeling that familiar pull, something steady, something warm, something real. It's not dramatic or urgent. It simply is. Anytime, you reply, and you know you mean it. The door closes gently behind you, the snow-muted night waiting just beyond. As you step out into the quiet, snowy night, the door closing softly behind you, it becomes clear that the evening didn't give you what you came for. It gave you something else entirely. Something unexpected. And maybe, just maybe, something better. You ease the car onto the silent, snow-dusted road, tires crunching gently beneath you. The windshield wipers sweep in a slow, steady rhythm, keeping time as the headlights carve narrow tunnels through the falling flakes. Each snowflake rushes toward the glass like a tiny comet before disappearing, over and over again. It's strangely hypnotic, calming in a way you hadn't realized you needed. The quiet gives your thoughts space to drift, and without much effort, they wander back to the kitchen, to the simple, unremarkable task of cleaning up alongside Evan. The clink of dishes, the shared jokes, the easy rhythm of working side by side. Nothing dramatic. Nothing inappropriate. Just warmth, laughter, and a fleeting sense of being entirely at ease. You hadn't gone looking for that moment. You hadn't expected it to linger. And yet, here it is, riding quietly beside you as the road stretches on and the snow keeps falling. Maybe the night didn't turn out the way you imagined. But as you drive through the peaceful dark, you can't help thinking that sometimes the best things arrive when you stop trying to plan for them at all. He was 28, maybe 29 at the absolute most. Lean from pick-up basketball games, quick to smile, carrying that effortless confidence that comes from knowing exactly how attractive you are. The kind of man who doesn't second-guess his reflection or his charm. And yet, all evening, his attention had been unmistakably yours. He flirted openly, without hesitation or embarrassment, as if the years between you weren't something to tiptoe around but something to admire. As if your age wasn't a liability, but a quiet advantage. You caught yourself replaying the moment later, the way he leaned back against the counter, drying the same wineglass far longer than necessary, his movements unhurried and deliberate. He glanced up at you then, voice easy, almost offhand, and said, "You know, I've always had a thing for older women." It wasn't crude or teasing. It was matter-of-fact, confident, sincere. And long after the glass had been put away, the words lingered, unexpected, flattering, and strangely grounding. As though, for once, time itself had tilted in your favor. You'd laughed then, half flustered, half intrigued, and asked him why. His answers weren't rehearsed or slick, they were measured, almost earnest. He said he liked the way older women carried themselves, calm, self-possessed, comfortable in their own skin. He admired their humor, the kind that didn't strain for attention. He liked that they knew what they wanted and weren't afraid to say it, that there was no need for guesswork or games. Most of all, he liked the stories in their eyes, the quiet evidence of having lived, learned, and endured. And to your own surprise, none of it sounded inappropriate or forced. It didn't feel flattering in a hollow way. It felt considered. True. And goodness help you, it didn't sound wrong at all. It sounded dangerously right. You teased him lightly, something silly about how, if you ever did end up together, Chris would technically become his son-in-law one day. You expected an awkward pause, maybe a forced chuckle and a quick change of subject. Instead, Evan threw his head back and laughed, loud and unrestrained, the sound ringing through the quiet kitchen. It wasn't nervous or polite, it was genuine, delighted. When he looked back at you, his eyes were bright, almost mischievous. "That's the best worst family tree ever," he said, grinning. "I'd risk it." And somehow, impossibly, the idea didn't feel absurd at all. It felt warm. It felt easy. It felt like one of those strange little moments that sneak up on you, unexpected, harmless, and far more memorable than they have any right to be.